Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. I've got Josh Robbins, CEO Beachwood Marketing, on the show with me today. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be here.
Josh, give our audience a brief description of who you are, what Beachwood Marketing does in your industry sector, and why you are better than anybody else in this business.
Well, Beachwood Marketing partners with oil and gas companies that look to buy additional oil and gas wells, and we're the best that there is because we're one of the first companies that took contract business development or contract A&D and made a business out of it. There's not really a whole lot of companies like Beachwood out there. We call every day between 1,000 people a day trying to track down stuff that's not available anywhere else, and so that's why people use our service.
When you say stuff that's not available to anybody else, are you talking about oil and gas properties? You're talking about rigs? You're talking about refinery parts? What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about oil and gas wells. We're talking about the acreage to drill new wells. That's really where we focus. Operated properties from for oil and gas companies.
So these are wells that are drilled and performing, or drilled and you think can perform?
That's right. Okay. So a lot of them we work with wells that are doing well, wells that are not doing well, that people think they can buy, go in, fix up. Very similar to a house flip, if you will.
Market size. When somebody comes to you and they want to do business with you, give us a scope of the type of clients that would engage your services and dollar amount and, say, geographic location too.
Sure. So we focus primarily on the continental U.S., specifically oil-producing states. So Wyoming, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, and a little bit of Louisiana. We have done work in California and in Pennsylvania, but really we stay focused in mid-con more than anywhere else.
That's right. Say the lower 48.
That's right. That's right. And deal size, it ranges between $10,000 for a single well to $290 million for a company buyout. We work off market, so a lot of these deals don't exist anywhere publicly. So we work primarily under 50 million in assets. That's where we work.
Okay, under 50 million in assets. So am I assuming that the potential of somebody engaging with your projects could also work into a merger or an acquisition of an entire company, or just it's an asset-based trade?
No, it could definitely work into a complete company buyout.
Do you handle those, or do you farm those out?
So we don't actually broker anything. So we're a marketing firm that finds them. So we connect A to B. So our main goal is to track down stuff that doesn't exist and hand it over to the client, to the oil and gas company that's working for it, and then they handle the due diligence. That's exactly right.
Okay. It's got to be a real talent to find something that doesn't exist and to be able to turn it into something.
That's what I've been told.
I mean, that's like magic to some.
Yeah. And honestly, it's just hard work. It's just going out there, and in today's technology-driven world, it's a whole lot easier to just go on a website, track down what's available publicly or what's available marketed, and just go buy it. It takes a lot of work to track down maybe the people that don't want to go through the process, or make those calls to introduce people into hey, what you have is probably worth maybe more than you thought it was, or it's in an area that that someone else is looking to develop, and you could take your asset and sell it. And oil and gas, for the most part, is separated into generations, and a lot of third generation oil and gas folks don't look at oil and gas the same way as maybe Grandpa did. Grandpa went out, drilled wells. The third generation looks at oil and gas just like they do commercial real estate, as an asset that they can sell and make money from. So selling it sometimes makes more sense than actually being in oil and gas.
Okay, you brought something up that was really piqued my interest in the conversation, and that was the new generation of oil and gas people don't look at it like 2 generations prior to them, like Grandpa did, like you said. So bring that home, because we have a lot of that going on throughout the global economy, where, as they say, not to be use too many colloquialisms, but the new, what's the proper word I'm looking for? The new millennials think about business different than Grandpa did. Yeah, Grandpa's got some stuff that actually works. So give me an example of new technology in your industry sector and how you're using it to stay ahead of the curve. And I also want to know, are you on the buy and the sell side, or just the sell side, or just the buy side?
So right now we're on just the buy side.
Okay.
So we work directly with the folks that are looking to buy, but we call sellers all day long. But that's who our clients are, the buyers.
And then the millennials approach versus Grandpa's approach?
Sure. So Grandpa was in oil and gas, and they went out and leased and found land and drilled wells. Now there's very rarely that you hear about a dry hole, about drilling something in the ground and coming up empty. The technology that's available, I mean, they find oil no matter what. I mean, they invest in it. The technology's there. They drill the hole. They drill the hole in the ground and they make money. With that being said, a lot of these wells that were drilled in the 60s, 70s, 80s, they're just long life assets that are coming to an end. And the millennial or the new generation looks at those as liabilities, or they don't want to go out and drill anymore. They want to just sell those off and maybe invest in something different, invest in a tech company, or invest in a commercial real estate. So that's kind of how it's.
So a company will come in, find a portfolio of nearly defunct wells, wrap them into some kind of a debt instrument, and then sell it at a low yield for the remaining revenue stream that they develop it, is one way that people come and use your services.
That's right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get down to the bottom of it. What would be the deciding factor between you and anybody else out there doing what you do?
Transactions. So we work for a commission of the deal. So we go out and track down everything, but it's a commission type structure that's based on transactions. And because we make so many calls, I opened this officially in 2014, but it was a side hustle for 4 years before that. So we have 8 years of solid relationship data that we use to talk to people on a daily basis. And because we're in it and do it all the time, we're able to find things that aren't there because we know that they are there. Just the rest of the industry doesn't.
Let me give you a catchphrase.
Sure.
So you would be a performance-based business, is what I'm hearing.
That's exactly right.
Okay, and so based on the performance you've had over the last 8 years, you're out ahead of anybody else that's in your industry sector, is what I'm getting. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, all right. How long, you said 8 years, and how did you get this thing started? I mean, where did this come from to get to where you are now?
So I originally started in the oil field services sector, and the sector that I was in was environmental compliance. And if you can imagine talking to oil and gas people about environmental compliance, those conversations were very, very fun.
Or brief.
It was about 07, 08, and I was talking to an individual about compliance and about the new regulations, and he said, "Josh, I'm just not going to do it." And I said, "Well, that's a good plan. I wouldn't go that route, but you can do whatever you want." He said, "Go ahead."
I'm not going to do what? I'm just
not going to get in compliance. Not going to basically follow the rules. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I said, that's a good idea. If you can drive. You don't need a driver's license. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it. He said, no, I'm just going to sell out completely. And so I said, okay, well, then, yeah, if you're going to sell out completely, then you don't have to do anything. And so I called up a client of mine that I had worked for a couple of years and said, I said, Dale, I said, here's the deal. You told me to call you anytime somebody's talking about selling. This is what I got. And so he called me back and he said, Josh, that was John. And I've been trying to buy John's wells for a decade. We just closed. Let's do that again. I didn't realize that in the oil field business that was a needed service. So there, right now, how it's built is built on an auction type environment. If you don't want to own something, you put it in an auction and you sell it. It's very public, very internet based. And then you have larger companies have acquisition and divestiture employees, and they go out and they try to find stuff, or they try to sell what they have. Third party, folks that are in it all day long, every day, didn't exist. And so there was a real niche for Beachwood to track down, like I said, stuff that no one else knew.
I get it. You said auction process. Is there an auction process on your website? I'm on your.
There's not. No, so that's the normal way of doing things. We don't. So we work directly for the buyer. So what we do is go around what is the norm. So instead of going and fighting with 30 different businesses trying to bid on a well, Beachwood goes and finds the guy that's not even on the process. He doesn't, not even looking at selling. So you're able to go target market your specific area. So, hey, I really like the Permian. I want to go out to the Permian Basin and buy me a well. Well, you can't. If you want to try to bid against, like I said, 30 other companies, you can do that. Or you can use Beachwood and we go find stuff that's off market.
I get the niche.
Yep.
I get that. All right, that is a great first conversation that we've had. I'd like to continue the conversation because come on, I'm in Dallas. This is oil country, so
this is.
I would like to continue the conversations with success stories and see what other unique opportunities come up as this unfolds. I want to commend you on finding a need, filling the void, and then owning the space. That's great work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Josh. Thanks for joining us. It's been Michael Yorba on CEO Money. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Josh, I'll be talking to you offline.
Okay, thanks.